All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, during Russell Westbrook's 17-year NBA career, there really hasn't been much that the future Hall of Famer hasn't accomplished on the basketball court. We're talking about Russ being the NBA's MVP back in 2017 when he became the first player since the Big O, Oscar Robertson, in NBA history to average a triple double for an entire season. And in all, Russ can claim fame to the fact that he has averaged a triple double for four different NBA seasons. Now, Westbrook also led the NBA in scoring twice, assist three times, and he's also been a nine-time All-Star. And then we cannot gloss over the fact that Westbrook was named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team. Now, undoubtedly, Russell Westbrook is going to be Springfield bound when his playing career is over. But now it's just a matter of when he gets there, will he be able to claim fame to being able to hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy once as an NBA champion? Now, you go back to 2012, along with KD and James Harden. Russ helped the Oklahoma City Thunder get to the NBA Finals. And even though that Thunder team came up short in the finals as they lost to LeBron and the Miami Heat in 5 games, there were many people who felt like, hey, that young OKC trio was coming, and that was going to be the first of many trips for them to the NBA Finals. But of course, that was not the case. It's just months after making the finals, that trio got broken up. James Harden was traded to the Houston Rockets, and it was never the same. We saw KD and Russ get OKC back to the Western Conference Finals in 2016 before KD left. And then since then, Russ was never able to get back to the finals. And then, like actually since getting to the conference finals back in 2016 with Kevin Durant, Westbrook's never even been able to get that far since then. You look at it. Russ played this past season for the Denver Nuggets. Of course, their season just ended this past Sunday at the hands of the team that drafted Russell Westbrook once upon a time, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Talking about a guy who's 36 years of age. He's going to be 37, excuse me, in November. And you simply got to wonder if him getting that NBA championship is in the cards at this point. You look at it and I say, hey, nobody is ever or should ever accuse Russell Westbrook of being a ball player that's not going to give you everything that he has. I mean, he leaves it all out there every single time that he takes the floor. At the same time, he's never been a perimeter scorer. That's just the name. That's just his game. I mean, you're not going to sit up there and rely on Russ to beat Steph Curry. That's not who he is. Okay, and I'm not here to knock him for that. You look at a guy like I said, he's going to play hard defense. He's going to play hard on offense. Sometimes he's going to have those turnovers. But even with all of that said, I think he could still contribute to a team, in my opinion, and I think he could be a solid player for a team coming off the bench. And I think what makes it work and what could continue to make that work for us is the fact that he's been an egoless star. Even when he was the top guy, he's been egoless, and he's one of those guys. He's going to try to do everything that he can for the team. You see how players gravitate to him. Like you heard players on the Nuggets here in this play in this postseason talk about how they wanted to do it for Russ. They wanted to get him that ring. So I don't think that Russ could walk into a locker room and guys not respect him. Okay, so I'm looking at it like this. Russ has a player option with the Nuggets for next season. Will he exercise it or will he continue his career in another city? I mean, there was a lot of turmoil that came out towards the end of the season for the Nuggets. Of course, we all know general manager Calvin Booth as well as head coach Michael Malone were let go. And some of the stuff that they were beefing about was the playing time over Russell Westbrook. Of course, David Adelman took over in Denver. I truly do believe that Adelman is going to be the long-term option at head coach for the Nuggets. But nonetheless, do the Nuggets want Russ back, and does Russ want to be back there? Those are two big questions for me. At the end of the day, once upon a time when a player reached Russell Westbrook's age, you would say, what? Hey, you know what? This is it. He's going to retire. I don't think so. Russ keeps himself in great shape. And then on top of that, I don't see a guy that's ready to retire. I see a guy that's still enjoying basketball. He's chasing that NBA championship. He also loves playing the game of basketball. And I think whether it's Denver or another NBA city, I think that pursuit is going to continue. It's just a matter of who's going to bring Russell Westbrook in, whether it's the Nuggets or somebody else. Of course, Russ is not the player that he was, the scoring option that he was, when he was in OKC during his heyday. But I still think he can go out there and be a contributor on somebody's basketball team and go out there and make an impact. It's just a matter of where that's going to be next season. It's one of those, like I said before, there's not a lot that Russell Westbrook has not accomplished on the basketball floor. It's just a matter of him trying to get that NBA championship. And again, in this era, where we've seen super teams, we've seen guys, buddy up, to try to get a championship. It just hasn't worked out for Russell Westbrook. Let's see what next season, does for him, whether that's in Denver or someplace else. He's still one of the greatest players of this era. As far as I'm concerned, he can still be an impact player for an NBA team, a quality impact player. And let's see where Russell Westbrook's basketball journey continues for next season. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, you give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. And that also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, there's a sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. As far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.